Hello and welcome. Today we're going to take a look at how to remove the Wave Monitor display. Before we begin, let's take a look at some of the safety precautions and measurements needed to perform this task. Starting with ESD or electrostatic discharge, what can we do to prevent it? As we know, ESD can be damaging to sensitive components, so ensure all ESD precautions have been taken when working on any gaming devices. As a precaution, we need to remove all jewelry from fingers, wrist, neck, and etc. Always pay close attention to the following: all caution and warning labels, all notification labels, and all shock hazard labels. Remember, use caution when using power tools in or around gaming devices. Lastly, when working on equipment, ensure power is switched off before servicing game devices. This can save you hours in the long run. As our final precaution, when playing and swapping out the monitor display, it is required to have no less than 2 people at all times when performing this task. The monitor is very heavy and the weight is an arc weight when removing. Okay, now we can take a look at the suggested tools needed to perform this task. To begin, it is suggested you have an electric drill, a 7mm nut driver, a number 2 Phillips head screwdriver, and a set of pliers. Linesman pliers are preferred. Now we can begin. But let us stress once more the importance of safety. As we know, when working in an area, we need to always ensure that our area is secure and taped off. It is also suggested that you keep the box the new monitor came in. Once the old monitor has been replaced, secure old monitor back in the box. Don't forget, there should always be more than one person assisting when performing this task. The first task to perform when removing the monitor is to ensure we latch the main door lock in the lock position as shown in our example. Let's take a look at this being performed. As being demonstrated, with the main door open, press the main door lock. Next, we need to remove our stitcher cover to disconnect all the cables on the monitor display. As this is being demonstrated in the video, there are a total of 3 screws holding the cover on. Remove the screws being pointed out using your electric drill. When removing the last screw, support the cover with your arm as shown. This will prevent it from falling. Once the cover is removed, you will see a total of 4 connections. You will see the power, your DVI, the DP cable, and the serial connection for your touchscreen. We will disconnect all 4 as shown. Next, we will disconnect our LED light cable located at the top of the monitor. This will be demonstrated in the video. Once all cables have been disconnected, allow them all to hang freely as shown. As mentioned earlier, we are showing you how to disconnect all the cables from the cable stays and allow them to hang freely. Next, we need to remove the topper. By removing the topper, as we will demonstrate, this is the easiest process to take. This will allow the removal and installation of the monitor easier in the end. There are a total of 8 screws that hold the back cover plate. Using your number 2 Phillips screwdriver, remove all 8 screws as shown. Before we dismount the top box, I want to point out your cable connections on the LCU or Lighting Control Unit board. It is recommended you disconnect the top box monitor cables from the LCU and the CPU before pulling the cables out. There will be a total of 3 cables that will need to be disconnected. They are as follows. From the CPU, you will need to disconnect the VGA cable, the power connection, and as mentioned earlier, the LED cable for the LCU board. With the assistance of the other person, and after all cables have been disconnected, have that person feed the cables to you through the opening at the base of the top box as being demonstrated here. As you can see, we are pulling out 1 cable at a time, since the opening is only so big. Take your time at this part. The cables are sturdy, but never rush this portion. We are now ready to remove the top box. Once all 8 screws have been removed, there will also be a cover that needs to be removed as well. Once removed, you will have access to another 6 screws that hold the top box to the cabinet as being shown here. Note, when removing these screws, you will need the assistance of another. That person will need to hold the top box to prevent it from falling once all screws have been taken out, and also provide assistance when removing it. As being demonstrated, observe, with the assistance of another, all the screws are being removed while the other person is holding the top box. Now that the top box has been removed, we can now remove it and stage it in an area that is safe and for later use. As being pointed out here, there are a total of 14 screws. 8 screws that hold the monitor to the hinge bracket, and 6 that secure the hinge bracket to the cabinet. To make this monitor removal easier, it is suggested that you remove the 6 screws securing the hinge bracket to the machine first. This makes it easier to remove the monitor, and even easier when it comes to mounting the new monitor on the cabinet. But before we remove the screws, we must disconnect the gas struts. Again, with the assistance of another person, have them hold the monitor up while you remove the pins from the gas struts that are connected to the back of the monitor. Disconnect your gas struts by pushing the pins inward as shown for both struts. Note, these pins can only be removed one way. Lower the monitor and then remove the 6 screws as instructed. Remove the monitor and place in a safe area. Once they are removed, we can now remove the 8 suggested screws from the monitor display and reattach to the monitor. To reinstall, perform all of the previous steps in the reverse order. This concludes this tutorial on how to remove the monitor for a Wave cabinet. Thank you.